A sound within a sound within a sound within a sound. Think about that. Think about that for 1 second. A sound within a sound within a sound. You're a wizard, Harry. What the f is up, my people? Tube Daddy's back. Uh-oh, it's Tube Daddy. Welcome to episode 10 of Beating Ableton. Today we're doing sound inception. Oh my God. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Morgan, and this is Cracked Records. And this is Cracked Records. All right, everybody lock the fuck in because we're going deeper into sound inception than you've ever been before. So this is the project file for the Cracked intro in Ableton. Let's check it out. Wow. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did all the audio and video completely from scratch because this was like my 10th project or something in After Effects. And it's really not that hard. Well, it's pretty fucking confusing. But if you use like Chat GPT to help you with all this stuff, it's not as difficult as you might think it would be. So like it took me maybe 25 hours in the program to get to this point, and it's just super sick to see what you could do if you just kind of lock the fuck in for a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys the audio first, and then we'll hop into After Effects, and I'll show you guys exactly how I did the editing. All right, so first up, if you didn't know that you could do this, if you right click on a video clip in Ableton and then you do video window right here, it'll pop up that little video screen. So that's how you could like sync the visuals with the sound inside of Ableton. And then first up for the sounds, we have a couple risers right here. So let me just show you guys these ones. And whenever you're doing this sort of sound design where it's just like effects and just crazy shit, you just completely turn your fucking brain off. Because if you're thinking about key and like what makes sense or whatever, you're not going to be able to get to the result that you want. You're really just aiming for how you could fuck around the fastest. And occasionally fucking around with stuff like this actually gets your brain working in an entirely different way, because I feel like when you're writing music, you're so used to like opening Serum and like doing that whole workflow. But when you're not using any of that, it kind of just shows you that you could get the same result in like hundreds of different ways. So the first thing we have is this little riser. And it looks like there's 4 layers in this guy. So when I started this, I wanted to limit myself to only using shit that I've made just to prove to myself that it was good. So for the super crazy effects stuff, I use Void. And if you're not familiar with how my synths work, they're all entirely note on random. So every time you hit a note, we have this MIDI note right here, it's going to completely randomize the back end of the synth and give you a new preset. And then when you hit this random stable button, it's going to lock it. So then you can manipulate the sound a bit more. So for this one, I just decided to go absolutely apeshit with it. So I have just the one note down right here. And then I have the random device down here, and that's just going to randomly pitch the MIDI note into a different pitch. And then I didn't stabilize the preset at all. So I just resampled a long clip of this and then just started manipulating it. So for this first layer here, I literally just put it as like a pre-sweep and then did the manual fade. And then I just did Shift Option Drag until I found something that I liked. So you could just do this forever. And other than that, there's literally nothing on it. I just turned it down 6 dB. Then in the first layer of this group, I did the same exact thing just to add more tension. And on this one, we just have OTT to make it bigger, and then a chorus to make it wide, and then another OTT because we were just fucking around and finding out. After that, I dragged the resample into a sampler, and then I was just messing around with the start time, again, just to layer and just add more sounds within a sound within a sound. And then after that, I did a shifter with the fine tune going up slightly just to add a little bit more tension. And then we have an OTT after that. Below that guy, we got absolutely crazy with it. So this is a snare and a simpler. And then I did the arpeggiator free rate increasing in time. So it's like ramping up sort of like an engine sound. And then I cut off a little bit of the transient just to make it a little less aggressive. And then I added an auto filter that opens up just to introduce it over time. Then when I was listening to everything together, I was like, this sounds like shit. So we need common processing. So I just threw an everything thick OTT on here, and this just smashes everything up to almost zero just to make it loud. Then I did a little bit of EQ just to balance it out, and then reintroduced the filter again. So it just opens up just to add more tension. Then after that, to give it sort of like a wobble effect, I have an LFO tool on free rate as well, and it's getting faster over time to lead into the sub hit. And then I also automated the points in here. This is so ridiculous. Just to make the shape a little bit more percussive as it went up into the hit. Yeah, absolutely just fucking around. I was like, if it can work, we're just gonna make it work. After that, we have this bass, My Big Guy. Let's check this guy out. So we got quite a bit going on in here. So if we take off C and B, we just have oscillator A, which is carrying most of the weight in the sub. And then we have the noise, which is getting distorted in the post effects, just to glue it all together with a little bit of stereo width from the chorus. And then for oscillator B and C, B is a sine wave with just a little bit of unison on it. And this is what's giving us the width. And then if you see right here, I'm automating up the C level. So that's what's giving it the wow. So this one's 4 octaves up from the sub, and that's what's giving us that upper harmonic when it leads into the second part right here. Let's turn off these effects really quick. So first up, we have the erosion set to sine mode, and this is just gonna add a little bit of sizzle and noise in the top end. And then for whatever reason, I automated the frequency and the amount just to add more tension going into this second part. So it's super subtle, but it's just adding a little bit more frequencies in the top end. Then after that, I just did a roar set to poly mode, because that absolutely just destroys it and makes it enormous. After that, we got a reverb where I'm automating the dry wet. So that's just washing it out a little bit going into this second hit right here, which sounds like this. And after that, we just have an OTT and an EQ8 to balance it out, and then a limiter just to make sure we're not absolutely blasting it. Below that, we have this 808 glitch texture. So this is, again, just another one of these presets that I made, which I'll show you in a second, that it's just like automates itself over time. So if we listen, just absolutely going apeshit. Then on this guy, we have an auto pan set to sine, and then I flattened it out so it's almost a square, and then I automated the rate up, and that way it's just more of a glitch effect that leads into the sub drop on bar 6 right here. Layers. And if we want to jump into this preset super quickly. Absolutely insane. So this one is just a sine wave, and then this is set to 0 on the stereo width, and that way it has like the warbling motion. So it's kind of acting like a Reese sort of bass because we're distorting it to absolute fuck later. Oh my God. Yeah, this was when I was just trying to absolutely max out Serum 2, and then I'm just using every single LFO just on anything that was changing the tone of the sound, and then I just let it sit there, and we'll find out what happens. Let's get some context really quick so we don't get lost in the sauce. Okay, so the next thing that we have is this little sub drop right here. So for this one, I just took Rumble, which is an 808 generating synth. And again, for these, the whole thing is no on random. So if you have this set to random, it's just gonna give you a new preset every single time. And then once I found one I liked, I just stabilized it. And then I bounced this guy out down here. And then in the envelopes over here, I did a pitch swoop from almost up 24. So I just cut out the kick right here because I didn't need all that impact. And then after that, it's just an erosion just to add some presence with white noise. After that, we have this glitch shimmer sound. Let's check this out. So believe it or not, but this is from the random 808 machine from up here. So I think what I did was, yeah, it's just higher up in octave. And then I also, for whatever reason, pitched it up with a pitch right here. I think I was just trying to get it to fit a little bit better. And then it sounds like it's even higher than that, but I guess that's just how it sounds. So after that, I did the same thing with the auto pan, but it's like the reverse of what the other one was doing. So this one slows down over time. And then holy shit, it's a sound within a sound. So we also got 100 more things. So yeah, we have the rate. So that's slowing down over time right here. Then we have the erosion thing again. So as things started to sound good, I was just like doubling down on anything that worked. And you can really hear this one. So it gets like sort of like a redux tone here at the end. And then I have a chorus where the feedback is getting higher and the dry wet. So again, this is kind of like a stereo width throw at the end here. And then we also have the reverb, which is getting automated on the dry wet. And then if we just check that with the video one time, let's check it out. So that's going like with the vibration, and then nice. Up here we have another little paper chunk, because it sounds like paper, from the 808 distortion machine. And again, you know, we are not knowing what we're doing. We're just boosting things to sound good. And then I automated the overdrive to sort of reflect the shape of the sound, just to add a little bit more movement. And then just a dark reverb to fill in the low end right here. And again, don't forget you could shift option drag this until you get a position that you like. All right, next up we got this void shimmer down here. And the way I sort of thought of like what sounds to even fucking use for this, I was just like going back and forth between After Effects and Ableton, like sort of learning at the same time. And once I found an effect that looked cool, I would just think of a sound that would fit the effect. So if you look in the background, it like glows super briefly. So I was just thinking it has to be some sort of high pitch sound. So I took the resample from Void, and then this is up 15. And then again, just dragging it to a random spot. And then I completely filtered out everything but the high end just to give it like the tinniness. And then I just have some washout on this channel strip rack right here just to throw it out. Bitch, you guessed it, we're going deeper. 20 sounds deep. Next up, we got the crack. My best work. So let's see here. So believe it or not, but this is all from the Reese bass from earlier. So if we listen to these, let's see. I don't even remember how I did this. Let's check this. So we got to turn that on. So it looks like I just grabbed the littlest bit of this, and then it's not even pitched at all. And then I just filtered out anything in the low end. So it's more of like a crackle. And from there, I used a transient shaper to give it more transient. And then an overdrive to make it brighter. And then this auto pan, here we go. Now we're getting into it. So this auto pan is set to 23 hertz right here, and it's adding sort of like a flicker to the transient. So it's adding like a super quick flam. And after that, we tried to fuck around with some other shit, but that wasn't working. So we did it again. So down here, and as you can see, I tried this, fucking 5 times. So this one down here. So we got 3 different layers. So it's just 3 short transients just to make it emulate like a shatter or crack sound. And then, yeah, it was pretty much the same sort of process for these. So I just duplicated the track and then just dragged the position, and these all even have the same processing. So yeah, once something works, just double down on it. And as far as the timing goes on these, it's just really just fucking around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And other than that, on the group, we have a standard multiband comp just to make it less harsh. And then a long tail reverb just to send it out. Which brings us into our and our WOM over here. So again, these are from the Serum 2 preset from up here, and same sort of process. I'm just dragging it till it sounds good. And I think this one is actually time stretched. Yeah, so I doubled the BPM on this, and then I threw it down an octave just to throw it in the bass range even further. And then again, I was just like matching it up with the visual effects that I thought was cool. So this is like a ripple distortion, I think. And that just reminds me of a Weon, so you know what we're doing. Then lastly for the sounds, we got the WOM. So 2 layers for this guy, which is like the same exact process. So we got this one. So this one's actually reversed, and then I just cut out some of the high end. And then this one's most of the body. Yeah, so we got this one in the low end, and then with some stereo width, and then this guy is acting as sort of like a riser to throw it out. And then on the group, we just have everything thickness and a little bit of reverb. All right, go ahead and lock the fuck back in, because this shit's actually super cool. I know it looks intimidating as fuck, but I'm telling you, this is like 25, 30 hours of me in the program. So the way that I learned it was I would just ask Chat GPT, what are the coolest effects to fuck around with? And this actually works with sort of like anything creative. You don't want to like ask it for an answer, like a direct answer, because it doesn't really know what the fuck it's doing. It can't see. So if you just ask it for the best options, you could then just fuck around and find out from there. So this is kind of like Ableton a little bit. So you just really are just dragging knobs around until something looks cool. So as you can see, without getting like too deep into how this program works, because you'll definitely have to watch a couple videos, but yeah, I just go over here, you just like add an effect just like you would in Ableton. And then from there, it's really just like fucking around and finding out. So, I mean, that's just super quick. That just took us 30 seconds to figure out. And then once you like fuck around for a bit, you could then start automating it. So let's check this out. Yeah, so if we go into this first one right here, we just have a whole lot of shit going on. So just imagine this is an audio track. And I pretty much just said like, what are the coolest effects? And then it told me these 5. And then from there, I was just fucking around with automating them. And that's really all there is to it. We don't have to get too lost in the sauce. If you guys want me to dive deeper into this, I could do another video. But yeah, sometimes you just got to get fucking lost in the sauce. This was just me just wondering what the fuck I could do. So hope your brain's okay. Lock the fuck in. All right, gang, that's going to do it for Sound Inception. Drop a comment if there's anything that you want me to dive deeper into, because for the next couple weeks, it's going to be Tube Daddy. As always, make sure to tickle that little subby butt if you haven't yet. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.